So we are in chapter 8. We'll finish that up tonight, and I'll see how far we get in 9. Where did we leave off? I don't remember exactly what verse we were on last week in verse chapter 8. Or is that where we left off?
Well, that's what I have on my trumpet one.
Okay.
We can drive Brandon. He read the last 3 chapters.
Yeah, 7.
We on verse 7? Okay.
I think so. We were pretty much covering the
And then we
first-
read all of them.
Yeah.
And
Okay. All right. I couldn't remember exactly which verse we left off on. I know Brandon was busy with the youth group. So. All right. So let's go. Let's start in verse 6 with the trumpets. Then the 7 angels who had prepared the 7 trumpets prepared to sound them. The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down upon the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up.
It's a lot.
A third of the earth. I mean,
Are they able to breathe with all those trees missing?
were they able to
More
breathe with the
difficult?
smoke? I mean, you think about the forest fires, and the some of these out west, and then the smoke just keeps traveling over. Can you imagine if a third of the trees are burned up?
Because we got the smoke from Canada.
We got the smoke,
Yeah,
and then
I know.
it's like,
That's like our air quality, so I
Yeah.
How big was the
can't
hail?
imagine what that would be like.
North side, golf
Well,
ball side,
yeah,
softball
we're
side?
not told. This hail,
ball?
we're not told. We're coming to some hail where we're told. Yeah,
we did the
Yes.
research on that one.
yeah, like beach ball size.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So a third of the earth was burned up. A third of the trees burned up. All the green grass was burned up. What do you eat? I mean,
Well, if there's
what are the cows gonna eat?
There's no green grass for the cows to eat. You're going to be eating a lot of cows because they're going to be dying.
Yeah.
Skinny cows.
Then after that, you're up a creek.
Yeah. The second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a huge mountain, all ablaze, was thrown into the sea. A third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed.
I mean, could you imagine the smell?
Ew.
No.
You're going to be wishing you had COVID.
Yeah.
I'm just dying right now thinking about it. It's just horrible.
Well, I'll make a connection here that I read about. If you turn to chapter 16, here we get to the 7 bowls. So remember, there were 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls, okay? Or if you're using the King James, it's vials. The 7 vials instead of bowls. But if you look here, look at verse 3. The second angel poured out his bowl on the sea, and it turned into blood like that of a dead man. And every living thing in the sea died.
So a third of the sea is literally blood, but everything in the whole entire sea is dead.
What what exactly this means, other than reading it literally,
Yeah.
But can you imagine? We're going to read in about the next one about the river, and because a third of the rivers. Now look at verse 10.
Are we going back to Revelation 8?
Yeah, we're going back to Revelation 8. That's correct. Okay.
Thank you.
So with this, what is it about mountains? Something like a huge mountain, all ablaze. It was thrown into the sea.
It's California.
California pretty much.
They had more orphans
Yeah,
pop
Sierra
up
Nevada
on
is big.
Yeah, big mountain.
I've never been out there, so I don't know.
Never been out to California. It's beautiful.
neither.
It really is. The
Never been there.
politics and everything is horrible, but it's a beautiful state.
It is.
Beautiful state. What were you gonna say, Jackie?
My notes say like a great mountain, probably a huge meteor or asteroid surrounded by gases that will ignite as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. Its impact will create a tidal wave, destroying 1/3 of the world's ships. And like something like a great mountain burning.
Yeah, but it's huge. I mean, think how this is not just a rock coming over. This is something that is massive, and yeah, people have questioned, how did all the dinosaurs die? And the scientific, yeah, you and I both know that, but the scientific answer is, probably some meteor crashed into the Earth 200 million years ago and wiped everything out because of it. That's kind of the scientific answer that's out there. But yeah, you see this and you're like, reading this, something like a huge mountain, yeah, probably a meteor or some big, huge thing that's on fire, and it's thrown into the sea. So, can you imagine? Have you guys ever been on like a cruise ship or something?
No
Ever
way.
been on a cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been on a cruise and you're out in the middle of the ocean.
Going
You
in
stand
March.
at the you stand on the the edge and you're looking out in the ocean. You feel so small.
Well, you can go out in the middle of Lake Michigan and stand
Yeah,
on
that's
a
true.
cruise ship, and you'll feel very small.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. Even something as small as Lake Michigan. So, can you think about a huge meteor,
Like a mountain.
like a mountain, just crashing down, and what that would do to the waters?
waves.
Yeah.
Tsunamis.
Well, that's what it said, created great tidal wave.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
A third of the sea turned into blood. Now, so what was on that thing?
Well, if any of us get squished by a rock, we're turning into blood. I'm just saying, there's going to be a little stain right on the ground.
But there's something about that turns the water. It doesn't just make a tidal wave. It also creates some sort of poisonous thing. This thing turns to blood. A third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. It was so funny. I'm reading a book. I'm reading a commentary, and it's an old commentary. And the guy references in there, just like the submarine mayhem or something like that was happening while he was writing this. Well, what was he referring to? World War II, the U-boats. Now, granted, I was not around for it, but the U-boats back in World War II,
They were terrible.
they were terrifying the seas. Because all of a sudden you're a ship out in the ocean and one of those U-boats comes up and you're sunk. And so they were destroying ships left and right and nobody could figure out how to get them. So, you think look at what's happening out in the Red Sea or the Persian Gulf with Iran and the Houthis. Houthis?
Are the pirates still going after the ships?
Well, that was Somalia, but these are the Iranian. They're got all these drones that they're taking out after these commercial shipping things. So it's interrupting all these shipping lanes. And how much do we depend on it? Remember with COVID?
A lot.
Remember with COVID, we happened to be out in California after some of that COVID stuff, and ships couldn't get unloaded. So there were these huge freighters. We're there in California, and I'm looking out, and we counted 16 of these humongous freighters filled with stuff, but they couldn't get them unloaded.
There were people waiting for 9 months on those boats to get
Yes.
unloaded.
Yep. And how much was our supply chain broken up because of that? So can you imagine?
Toilet paper shelves.
Yeah, that's right. But can you imagine? This doesn't just affect like life and death, but it affects the way you live, life.
How you live.
Yeah. How many oil ships may go down in this, and you're without oil? It's catastrophic.
I think everything about that be electric.
Yeah. The third angel sounded his trumpet, And a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from the sky on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter.
For some reason, it makes me think of that water and when the Israelites were leaving.
Exodus.
Yeah, and they had the bitter waters, and they grumbled and complained, and then yeah,
We don't know.
bitter water.
Well, we don't know to be without water either.
No,
I mean,
we don't.
how many of you have ever been at a place where you were literally, like,
Dying.
I can't drink the
Dying
water
of
at
thirst.
school. It's contaminated.
really? With what?
I don't know.
Cow urine probably out
I
there?
don't know.
Dehydration has awful effects.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's,
But I think of, I mean, like you think of, who was the guy? It was in World War II, and he went down. He was over in Japan. He was the guy that broke the running record. Samperini, Pete Samperini, I think is.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
oh,
I
wow,
have
yeah.
no idea who you're talking
4
about.
minute mile.
Yeah, that broke the 4-minute mile
Was it
thing.
the 4 minute mile? But it was
I think
1936 Olympics, right? He was-
Oh my word, that's fast.
He was, yeah, he could fly. He could fly. Well, he ran this, broke the mile thing, ends up in the military, gets shot down, and while he gets shot down, and he's out to sea. It's like 40 days or something like that that they were.
Oh, Louis Zamperini.
Yeah, Louis Zamperini. Yeah, not
Okay.
Pete. Yeah, Louis Zamperini. And but while he's out there, I mean, he's literally there's nothing other than some rain every once in a
Soaked
while.
his breeches and wrung it out. Soaked something, what piece of his clothing to get water.
Yeah, but you can't drink the salt water. So you're surrounded by water and you can't drink any of it. And so it was just so dehydrated. And so you think how many of us would be pretty distraught if our water all of a sudden turned bitter and we couldn't use it. So this thing with wormwood, wormwood is a bitter tasting shrub. And the taste of it is so strong, and I thought this was interesting. This is Brandon's notes. The taste of this is so strong that 1 ounce of it can be detected in 524 gallons of water.
Wow.
Now, why not 525? I'm not sure, but it's 524 gallons of water.
Sounds better that way.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you can taste 1 ounce of it in 524 gallons of water. That it just shows how potent this thing is. Yeah.
So
I
what
have a
is,
reference back to Ruth about about the wormwood and the bitterness of it. And Ruth was in the book of Ruth. Do not call me Naomi, but call me Mara,
Yeah.
for the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me.
Yes.
That's
Where do
pretty
we
good.
find this wormwood
Is it an oil?
shrub? Is it American? Is it?
or a tree?
Yeah, I actually, when I had goats, I gave them herbal dewormer, and wormwood was the base for it. And
Really?
it
Really?
is,
And
and
it
I
didn't
did
bother
try. I was gonna at one time try to like grow it myself, and I did get one plant to grow, and so it does grow in
Here.
our area if you want it.
No, I don't think I need it, but I was just curious.
So
I'm curious
it's kind
about
of, it's
this
one of
plant.
those green leaves that have kind of a frosted whiteness
Oh,
to it.
Like
You
a lamb's
know?
ear or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, something like that.
Okay. Interesting.
Somebody want to read Jeremiah 9:15 and then 23:15. Jeremiah 9:15 and 23:15.
I got 23:15.
I got 9:15.
Okay.
Jeremiah.
Actually, read 13 through 16, please.
And the Lord said, because they have forsaken my law, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, nor walked according to it, but they have walked according to the dictates of their own heart, and after the Baals, which their fathers taught them. Therefore, thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will feed them, this people, with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink. It sounds great. I will scatter them also among the Gentiles, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I will send a sword after them until I have consumed them.
Ugh, what do you
Sounds
see there?
awful. Wormwood.
Cruelty.
Cruelty on the part of who?
On the part of the people.
Justice.
God is sending the
I thought
word.
God was
God is
allowing
sending
it.
it to him. All right, let's jump over to 23.
Don't get on his bad side.
That's
Just
yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Look at verse 13 through 15, Sarah, please.
Among the prophets of Samaria, I saw this repulsive thing. They prophesied by Baal and led my people Israel astray. And among the prophets of Jerusalem, I have seen something horrible. They commit adultery and live a lie. They strengthen the hands of evildoers so that no one turns from his wickedness. They are all like Sodom to me. The people of Jerusalem are like Gomorrah. Therefore, this is what the Lord Almighty says concerning the prophets. I will make them eat bitter food and drink poisoned water, because from the prophets of Jerusalem, ungodliness is spread throughout the land. Are these the prophets that were not Jeremiah, Isaiah, or are these them as the example? The false prophets, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Are these
well-
false prophets or just general?
You're confusing me because you named off real prophets.
Yeah, because I'm like, why is God making the prophets drink the Isaiah, Jeremiah, etc., whomever they happen to be, eat the bitter food and drink poison water?
Wormwood and
Okay,
gall.
think about it. Okay, think about it like this. You guys remember Ahab and Jezebel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the prophets of Baal?
Oh, those prophets.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So it says here, among the prophets of Samaria, which that would be Ahab and Jezebel's prophets. Among the prophets of Samaria, I saw this repulsive thing. They prophesied by Baal and led my people of Israel astray. So among the prophets of Jerusalem, I've seen something horrible. They commit adultery and live a lie. So even and what he's saying is the prophets of Samaria were the northern prophets. The prophets of Jerusalem were the southern prophets. So there were false prophets in both the north and the south. And so it says, they strengthen the hands of evildoers so that no one turns from their wickedness. They are all like Sodom to me. The people of Jerusalem are like Gomorrah. What did God do to Sodom and Gomorrah?
Destroyed them.
Destroyed them.
Annihilated them.
Yeah. Rained down burning sulfur. Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like
Therefore, this is what the Lord Almighty says concerning the prophets. I will make them eat bitter food and drink poisoned water, because from the prophets of Jerusalem, ungodliness has spread throughout the land. So, what is behind this idea of wormwood?
Punishment.
King James says
Discipline.
wormwood, not
Yeah.
bitter.
Yeah, right.
Yours says
Right,
poison water.
right. Yeah, so it is, when you read this in Jeremiah, in both cases, it's, you did this, this is your punishment. You did this, this is your punishment. So wormwood is associated with justice and punishment. That's what it's associated with.
Don't make me get the wormwood.
Don't make me get the wormwood, exactly.
Like the belt.
Yep. the
So
switch.
verse 10, the third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star blazing like a torch fell from the sky on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water even. So not just on
Fresh water and salt water.
fresh water,
All
salt water. Yeah, all water. The name of the star is wormwood, so it's a poison. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. Now jump over to 16. And look at verse 4.
We're backing up.
Revelation 16. No, Revelation.
oh.
Yeah, Revelation 16.
That just didn't make sense, and that's why.
Yeah. The third angel poured out his bowl in the rivers and springs of water, and they became blood. Now, in the one case, it's wormwood. In this case, it's blood. Doesn't sound like the exact same thing.
I'm wondering, so a third of it we're talking back here, is this the rest of the 2/3?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering
That's,
too.
that's what I think.
Because it doesn't say a portion.
Exactly.
It just says
They
it,
became
it
blood.
became that.
Yep.
So 1/3 is blood, 1/3 is bitter.
So
Well-
what it
So
seems
that's
like,
Well,
2/3 of
Like
everything is something bad.
in chapter 8, you're talking a third of everything. Well, that leaves you with 2/3, right?
Yeah.
In chapter 16, I'm thinking that
doesn't
that's the
specify.
the rest of the
That's the rest
2/3. So,
Yeah.
like, now you're really screwed.
Yeah.
well, and that's the thing when you see the trumpets, and so one of the commentators I was reading for this said the trumpets actually are merciful. You know, because it's only a third. No, because the trumpet judgments are only a
I
third.
understand, yeah.
The bowls are the ones you
Once we get to the bowls, I mean, we're looking at this going, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. We're not even in the bowls yet.
I mean, so Sally's water, is that gonna turn to blood because it came from a stream?
I doubt it because it's already in the bottle, but
Turn on your faucet, it's just.
yeah,
But was one of the things that God did to the
I was just gonna say, it sounds like a
water,
horror movie.
To blood red, or am I?
no, you're right, and this is why depending upon your commentator, but a lot of these individuals go back and they see the parallels between the plagues of Egypt
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
and here. Now, it's not 1 equals first trumpet. Second plague equals second trumpet. It bounces all around, but you can see just as the plagues were very clearly associated with the earth, the sky, the water, the land. I mean, just the animals. In fact, even if you look in verse.
When all of the animals died, all of the sea creatures died?
Yeah, it was the frogs. Chapter 16, verse 12. The sixth angel poured out his bowl in the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings of the east. Then I saw 3 evil spirits that looked like frogs. Come out of the mouth of the beast.
Wait
And
a second, so the water comes back then? If they're drying up the great river Euphrates, then the water must come back from being bloody.
well, and that's where we look at this. Like, for instance, when we get to chapter 9, one of the things we're going to see is that trumpet judgment lasted 5 months. So it's not that these judgments were forever, but all of a sudden it would be this judgment happens, boom, the water's turned to blood. For how long? We don't know. But can you imagine if all the animals in the sea were dead? You don't just get those back again overnight. So, I mean, the starvation, everything, which is why, we talk about some of the modified views as far as like how these judgments and things happen. You can see how something like this happens, and how much does that sound like starvation and famine, which was one of the seals. If everything gets burned up, are these things stop, stop, or are they somehow happening, overlapping a little bit? You know.
It seems more reasonable that they would be overlapping or intertwined. But
Right.
maybe that's wishful
No
thinking to get it
reprieve
over
if that's-
with.
Yeah, all we know is
No reprieve.
well, and this is where like one of the commentators I read said it's the bowls that represent the second half of the tribulation. So if you're talking, that's the second half. We talk about how the first half is bad, and the second half is worse. So the first half is no walk in the park. If this stuff is all happening during the first half of the tribulation, it's.
But didn't we read where you couldn't die though, even though you wanted to?
Right, we're going to read on that too. We're going to read about that too.
Right now, it does lead you to believe people are dying, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
It does, but are they dying or is it just misery
Okay.
while you're living? That's
what I was asking.
yeah. Okay. Verse 12, the fourth angel. The fourth angel sounded his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them turned dark. A third of the day was without light, and also a third of the night.
So a third of the night was without the light of the stars
The
and
moon, yeah.
moon and things.
Especially, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Total darkness.
But doesn't the moon and the stars get their light from the sun?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, no, not the stars.
Not the stars.
Not the stars.
Not stars. Okay.
Yeah.
The moon does.
They
It's
just
simply a reflector.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The moon is simply a reflector.
So that would change the temperature of the earth then.
That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. Yeah, a third of the day was without light.
Kind of like winter.
Sounds like the opposite of,
That would suck, just having that.
Pastor John's favorite?
Climate change.
where's the snow,
Oh, Alaska?
Alaska.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking Arizona.
The night.
Totally opposite.
Oh, the night.
Yeah.
And then it changes.
Right,
with
right.
day
Where
light.
you've got so many 4 hours of
Nighttime
daylight during
sun
the.
and-
Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, I would die. I would
Yeah.
die.
I wanna watch
And
that.
the parts of Sweden right now are already
Sitka.
in their polar night.
Alaska.
They don't have any light until February or March.
Why would you live there? I mean, what would possess
Because
you?
it's Sitka, Alaska.
Because in the opposite of the winter time, you have the summertime where it's light all the time.
So they stock up on their vitamin D in the summer and lose it all over.
Yeah, the
winter.
sun actually goes around the.
Yeah, the polar. Yeah,
so you see it all day long.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I don't know if I would like that because you're still cold.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Natural
that's
sun.
what babies are made.
Yeah, that's what all the babies are made.
Probably. I have a cousin that lives in Alaska, don't they?
Yes, we have a cousin that lives in Alaska, a niece.
What is it about darkness? You know what do you think of when you think of the
Naughty.
Bible and darkness? What do you
Fear.
think of? Yeah,
You don't know what's lurking in it.
yeah,
Scare.
The absence of light.
yeah. It's oftentimes it's evil. It's judgment.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
you know when you think of when Jesus was on the cross. What happened?
Dark.
Got dark.
They had 3
Yeah,
hours of darkness, right? All of a sudden, darkness came over the earth, and it was like, can you imagine? It's 3 hours of
Isn't
in the
that-
middle of the day.
Yeah.
It's no wonder there were those who were like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I mean, after just seeing the eclipse, and that was what, 20 minutes? It was
Yeah.
kind of dark.
Well, and it's different in April than it is in August. Like in August, it like seemed to be darker than it did in April. But maybe it's because I was out.
Yeah, that was really weird with that eclipse, you know, because it was like this dusk. It was like a weird.
When I saw in August, it was cool because the fireflies are out. It was just in the middle of the day. You could see the fireflies. You could
Really?
see the sunset and you could see the sunrise. It was a lot different seeing in August than in April. When I saw in April.
Okay.
It was.
You were in more of a,
We were at a golf course when I saw it in August in 17
and we were
in the
housing
city.
division.
So it was a little
division,
bit
so-
different because you had a lot of that.
And it
housing
was too
money.
early for the fireflies.
I know, but it was cool.
Hmm.
It was still cool.
But yeah, darkness often portrays judgment. And that's kind of the picture behind this. So when a third of it is turned to darkness, a third of the day, a third of the night, it's clear there is judgment. But are you noticing the trend here?
It's getting worse. Like
Third.
third.
Still a third, a third.
That's
This-
what I've been writing
What's the
down.
significance of a third? I mean, half would be total annihilation.
Well, it's only going to get worse with the
Yeah.
seals or with the bowls, but
Why a third? Why not an eighth or
I
quarter
don't know.
or
That's a good
16th
question,
or
yeah.
something?
I don't know. But that's the theme throughout the trumpets, which is why, like I read, the trumpets actually seem to reflect the mercy of God, kind of like okay, guys, I'm letting you know
This is coming.
this is judgment, and if you repent or take a look, you don't have to do this, but men don't, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, actually. Verse 13, as I watched, I heard an eagle that was flying in midair call in a loud voice, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth because of the trumpet blasts about to be sounded by the other three angels. It's like, really? As if it wasn't bad enough already.
So do you think there could possibly be a break like that? Verse 13 signals the second half of the tribulation because it's getting worse, or is that kind of still lumped into the first half, John?
I still think it's lumped into the first half. I do. I still think it's there.
Is that voice going to be heard throughout the whole earth of the bird, the eagle? Whoa, 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 or is it just a section?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. I don't know, actually. I don't know how limited it will be. But it is interesting, this eagle, it's the eagle that's calling out. Now, granted, the word eagle there, as Brandon says, the word eagle does not necessarily have to mean eagle, like the bald eagle sort of a thing. The same word for eagle is actually the same word for vulture in the Greek, but
A big bird.
But it's a big bird, exactly. It's a bird of prey. It's a bird of whatever.
It's not the big yellow bird.
It's not big bird, that's right. But an eagle, if it is an eagle, which one commentator I was reading said that's what most scholars think, that it was an eagle. But the eagle would be a symbol of strength and swiftness in Jewish apocalyptic literature at this time as a messenger of God. So it's a symbol of strength and swiftness. That's the picture there.
Meaning.
In other words, this eagle.
Meaning this is coming fast and hard.
Well, I'm getting the word out. You think it's bad so far? Just wait. There's 3 more coming. Yeah, we read about 7 trumpets, but there seems to be a difference between the first 4 and the last 3. So. Yeah, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth because of the trumpet blasts about to be sounded by the other 3 angels. So, woe is a word used to announce impending doom. Such as Isaiah when he announces, remember when he was standing in heaven? And he says, woe is me, I'm a man of unclean lips. I'm like, I'm a goner. I'm standing in this very holy place, and I'm anything but holy. I know what I've said. I know what I've done, and I woe is me. The word woe is an expression that emphasizes calamity and destruction. And by calling out woe, the emphasis is that the end is near. So that takes us into chapter 9. And I don't have a sheet for chapter 9. I know some of you. Can I get you a blank piece? There's just nothing to. There was 2 trumpets. That's I can write first trumpet, second trumpet. If you want a piece of paper, I can get you a piece of paper.
No, you write 5th trumpet and 6th.
Over your paper, you on the backside.
Yeah, see, because I thought,
That's what I'm doing.
well, here's all the 4 trumpets, and then there's nothing on the back.
Okay, on the back side, just write 5th trumpet. There you go. And then we'll. I'm sorry, Sally. Do you forgive me?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here's another
Yes,
one. I don't
sounds like there was a butt coming.
I don't know if you need them, but
I have a bag of them.
Okay.
I have a giant bag of red ones for you.
All right. The 5th angel sounded his trumpet. Do you ever wonder what the sound sounds like?
I was assuming it sounded like the ram's horn.
Aren't they those long trumpets that
The ram's
that
horns.
The shofar.
don't play
Yeah.
a whole lot of notes?
That's what I
Like
was
in
thinking
Switzerland.
Oh, yeah.
Too. Oh, the
Ricola.
I'm sure that's what it sounds like.
The 5th angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to the earth. The star was given the key to the shaft of the abyss.
Someone mentioned that stars could be like those spirit beings, or is it? I don't remember exactly, but not necessarily a star, but
Like an angel type thing or
yeah,
something.
a
It
creature.
sounds like a person if you're looking at it.
Uh-huh. It does.
Opened it.
It sounds like a person,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
What else- what other
spiritual
details-
beings in heavenly
Fallen angel.
places.
Yeah, what else do you notice about this?
He was given a key.
Well, it's
It
not
was-
plural.
Right, okay, so singular. So it's a singular being of some kind. But it says that had fallen from the sky.
So is it in like the space, or is it from like the Earth thing?
Fallen angel.
Oh.
Yeah, so when we get the sense, when we read, I even looked up the word. I'm like, what does this word literally mean? It can mean to descend, but that's not the way it's typically. It usually is translated to fall. Now, when I think of when I think of an angel that's on a mission, I don't think of it as going, oops, like God pushed him out of heaven and he just falls down and does it. I think of an angel that was descending. That seems purposeful. Whereas in this case, fall has the idea that it's been pushed out. One commentator said, "No, that's not what it is. This is just a reference to he just left heaven and he came down." And so that commentator thinks this is a good angel that has been given a key.
No, I don't have that in
Why
mind.
would he want to open the abyss if he's a good angel?
Well, exactly.
My commentary says, perhaps an angel who carries out God's will, or perhaps Satan or one of his agents.
Yeah.
Either way, it is no doubt God who gives the key. He is permitting the terrifying events to occur.
Is that what yours was too?
Well, mine says, unlike the other stars that will have fallen, this one will be an angelic being, probably Satan himself.
So they think it's Satan himself.
What you're saying.
It is not known whether the star that fell from heaven is Satan, a fallen angel of Christ, or a good angel. Most likely is a good angel because the key to the shaft of the abyss is normally held by Christ. It is temporarily given to others being from heaven.
So right there you have it.
Is the abyss like the lake of fire? Is that where the lake of fire is, though?
Great question. Is the abyss the same as the lake of fire?
Was it where? I mean, I don't know.
Wasn't there a movie about this?
There was, and I didn't watch it because I don't like.
Yeah, that
Good
was
movie.
yeah.
I don't know.
But my New King James says bottomless pit.
I was just gonna say, mine says
And
bottomless pit, so
pit
yours
of the
says
abyss is mentioned 7 times in Revelation. It always refers to the prison where some of the demonic hordes are incarnated, the place of 7 torment, the severest torment and isolation.
The abyss represents the place of demons of Satan and the king of demons.
So that other one says abyss?
NIV says abyss.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, because this one says, the bottomless pit, the Bible, the abyss means the dwelling place of the dead. See Romans 10:7, or demons, Luke 8:31.
I like the way you emphasize that, Sally. The dwelling place of the dead.
Mine says Luke 31 too, another reference to abyss.
The word there is abusas. Hence the reason why the King James is a terrible translation. I got to pick on that over here. It's abusas. That would be the word from which we would get a.
What does that mean?
It means abyss.
Not by King James. It meant tombless pit. Bottomless. If you put the 2 words together that have a hyphen between them. It could be a tombless pit. But.
Yeah. It's interesting. This word, abyss, is the same word that's in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 2. It says, "Now the earth was formless and void, And darkness is over the surface of the
Abyss.
the abyss.
Isn't the abyss like a never-ending hole?
Yes, so when I was growing up, I used to think of the abyss was that the devil was in a state of perpetual free fall for 1,000 years. That's the way I envision this. He's just constantly dropping and falling for 1,000 years. And I
used to have nightmares about that. When I was a little kid, I would wake up screaming because I was falling and I couldn't stop.
You poor thing.
If that comes back,
Shame on you, John.
In the middle of the night.
Freaking you up, John.
Make it a text
She'll be
just
calling
to him,
you.
not to the
may the spirit of the abyss come off of you.
I'm texting you tonight.
She'll probably be awake, so
How's the abyss dream?
I will be just waking up and she's falling asleep.
I say, Jen, don't fall into the abyss.
I was waiting for you to reference the movie The Abyss, but
I said that.
It already
was. It already
I
was.
must have walked out. So don't want to tell you why.
Yeah.
I just want to throw my phone against the wall.
Great movie, side note, but that's okay.
So anyway, so the abyss is this place. So the question is it the same as hell? Is it the same as the lake of fire? And the answer is no. It's not.
It's a new place. Huh?
That's right. The lake of fire, which we read about in Revelation chapter 19, is not opened yet. Okay?
Not open for business, under renovation.
Yeah, it's still being constructed. Yes, yeah. 1919. Then I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against the rider on the horse and his army. But the beast was captured, and with him the false prophet who had performed the miraculous signs on his behalf. With these signs he had deluded those who had received the mark of the beast and worshipped his image. The two of them were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur. The rest of them were killed with the sword that came out of the mouth of the rider on the horse, and all the birds gorged themselves on their flesh. So, and then it says, and I saw an angel coming down out of heaven having the key to the abyss. So, yeah, so that's
So these are
two different places.
different
The lake of
places.
fire, the abyss, and the deep are very different things.
deep.
Now, the abyss, the abyss, the deep. Remember, the deep was Genesis 1:2. That's how it was translated there.
Okay.
But the abyss, the deep, whatever you would, and hell, and lake of fire, all three separate, different, three different things.
I have a little note next to mine that says, at the bottomless pit, it says, shaft of the abyss. So,
They're trying to connect them.
yeah.
That's what
There is a in 2 Peter chapter 2, if you want to turn there.
those teachers and their destruction.
Yeah, I can't read much of it. I use Gorilla Glue to fix my binding of my Bible, and I glued 2 pages together. And it's 2 Peter chapter 2.
So we'll never hear a sermon on
What do you
Second
want
Peter.
read?
Well, if you look in
We'll never
verse,
hear a sermon on 2 Peter chapter 2.
you'll see a different Bible if I preach 2 Peter.
I was going to say, he got it stuck on his eyelid and can't open his
Yeah,
eye.
I see. I can do chapter 1. It's tough, but I got it all, and I can get to chapter 3. I can get over here.
Will that work on mine too, John? Should I try it?
Absolutely, it'll work. It's amazing. I'm telling you, Gorilla Glue is amazing for bookbinding.
Don't want to give this Bible up because I love it. It's like
Yes.
my old friend, and I'm like, I've tried using other ones, and I just keep going back. to
Gorilla
this one,
Glue.
but
I'm
it
just
is
telling
falling
you.
apart.
My Bible. I ended up having to get it rebound, and the reason why I had to get it rebound was because of the leather started to fall apart. But the binding didn't.
No.
I'd had it rebound before, and it kept falling apart. I put Gorilla Glue on it.
Never again.
Never again. It's done.
Okay.
I should do that with my books at school that are falling apart.
And he's still a young kid. Can you believe that? Something's wrong with his picture.
So,
do they use the word abyss in chapter 2?
well,
or
I
is
want you
it-
to start in chapter 2, verse 1. And I'm trying to see where
gloomy dungeons in verse 4.
yeah.
Be held for judgment.
To be held in the gloomy dungeons, to be held for judgment.
Chains of darkness.
Yeah, if you look there, I believe it's verse 4. Let me get to my blue letter Bible here.
Your trusty phone Bible.
My trusty phone Bible. That's right. 2 Peter. I didn't glue this binding. 2 Peter 2.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know what I kicked.
Me.
Sorry.
It's okay.
What's going on over there, you two?
What is
Play footy.
Tartarus?
She'll see Paul watch. She's got to play footsie.
Yeah.
Right.
Tartarus. Have you ever heard of Tartarus?
Yeah, I've
So
heard
does
of
it say,
that.
what is that?
Isn't that a movie or
That
something? Like
is
TARDIS?
that is the word.
It goes
And
really well with fish.
Oh, Jen.
okay, so the word here is different. This is NASB, I believe it is, and the New American Standard Bible translates that word as hell,
Yeah.
but it's not. What's up, Brandon? You coming in?
New King James says.
I like the setup for this.
It's a little
It's really
cozy.
It's a little
cozy
tight.
and crowded, but it's okay.
Yeah. What's up, Lynn?
Hi, Lynn.
Wow. Knights of the Round Table.
That's right.
Rectangles.
Square table.
The
15 minutes, you can join.
Nuggets.
Just putting a plug in for tomorrow's harvest dinner.
We're coming. Turkey.
I know.
We bought ham to bring.
It's about time to watch that again.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Lynn. Have a good night, guys.
Brandon, thank you, Lynn.
6:30.
6:30.
So the gloomy dungeons is translated hell.
To pits of darkness. It's but they were cast into pits of darkness. Cast them into hell. So pits of darkness would be the word zophos, but then cast them into hell in the NASB is actually Tartaro, which the word is Tartarus. So I'm gonna do a Google
I
search now.
have that
Of Tartarus.
as a
Oops, of
translation
Tartarus, yes.
in my,
Yeah.
for literally means.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I have too.
Tartarus in the Bible. Here we go. In the Bible, Tartarus is a Greek word that refers to a place where fallen angels are temporarily confined after they sinned. The word Tartarus is translated as hell or lowest hell in most English versions of the Bible. It can also be defined as the deepest abyss of Hades.
So
I
Dante's
didn't know there were
Inferno
levels
was
to
right
hell.
when they
So-
talks about 7 level. Like,
Yeah,
layers
there
of
you go.
Aren't there levels to heaven?
Not that I've heard of. I've heard of hell.
The
has
concept of
layers.
Tartarus comes from
I don't know
ancient
about
Greek
that.
mythology, where it was the deepest
Hell,
part of the
yeah.
underworld where the gods imprisoned their enemies. So the question is, does the devil get cast into Tartarus? Is that where he's cast into? Because it's not the final place. It's
Right.
the place where it's held. So where did Jesus, do you remember when he went to preach to the spirits in prison?
Yeah, he was
Where did he go?
place of the dead.
He went to Tartarus.
Tartarus.
But I don't remember ever seeing the word Tartarus.
I know. That's because you don't know Greek. It's in the Greek. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the thing. We're at the mercy of our English Bibles. So like the NASB, which is an extremely accurate translation, should have said Tartarus, but it says sent them to hell.
Hell.
What is the app you're using? What is it?
Blue Letter Bible. It's phenomenal.
That is good.
Phenomenal. If you need I love Blue Letter Bible. It is fantastic. And it's totally free. I like it.
That's even better yet.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah.
Free is good.
Yeah, so when you go Blue Letter Bible, it's just you can go right to you just type in like which verse, like which book of the Bible you want. So like in this case, I have a 2 Peter, and then once you go chapter 2, and then it just pulls up, and you can go any version of the Bible, and then to get to the Greek or the Hebrew words, all you do is click on the verse, and then there's the word interlinear, and then it gives you then you can just see all the Greek words
Is that why it's
that's
called
there.
blue? Because it's blue letter?
Probably.
It is
So it's an app.
it's an app. It's
Yeah,
called
terrible.
Blue Letter
Like, you do
Bible.
two different versions at
It's
once.
it's my favorite app. It's for Bible study thing. It's perfect.
I'm gonna use that.
Maybe it's a couple.
That's great.
I used to like Bible Gateway, then they got flooded with ads, and I'm like, you idiots, you.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
why'd you ruin a good thing?
I know. Now you got a good thing going.
Right, because
Financial.
they sold to somebody else.
Probably.
Yep.
So now I'm blue letter bottom.
So anyway, what I'm getting at, that word Tartarus is probably what's meant by the abyss. But regardless, it's a place of evil. So if we go back to our passage here in Revelation,
So abyss is probably Tartarus.
yes, the abyss is probably Tartarus, or that place. Because remember, if you look in there in 2 Peter, it says they were locked up in
Yeah.
prison.
They
Okay?
had to go get the keys.
So he had to get the key to unlock them. And so now we go back to, this is the question. Was this a fallen angel or was this another angel? And so Amy's Bible says it's a good angel. Others of you said that it's a bad angel.
Yeah. A place where the angels who have sinned goes, it says in
We
mine.
were just flipping coins over angels.
So when can you think that God gave authority to someone bad to inflict punishment? Exactly. Job.
Yes.
Remember what happened? The devil,
Took
asked
everything
him
away
to-
from him and
But he
made him
couldn't
sick.
kill him.
but he couldn't kill him. And the devil was given the authority to inflict a lot of bad stuff. But he was given the authority by God. And so that's the thing. God can use evil to accomplish his purposes
So feasibly, God could have given a key
to a fallen angel.
And then one of the others, or even God himself, could have pushed him out of heaven,
That's right.
and he could have fallen. Or he could have been like Superman and gone like this. Gone really fast down to earth.
The fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to the earth. I tend to think it's a fallen angel. That's what I tend to think. I think the word fallen indicates this is not a good angel who just tripped. You know,
It's
I
not
think
like, it feels less like an action word, falling. He's not
right,
falling. It's
right,
fallen.
a
like,
fallen, yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Plus, it
An adjective
Makes
instead
sense.
of an adverb.
But that's still not the Greek.
Sure.
So
Sure.
mean anything.
Sure. Whatever.
yeah, if you say so, Jen. Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
go
go
with
with that one.
Okay.
The star was given the key to the shaft of the abyss. When he opened the abyss, smoke rose from it like the smoke from a gigantic furnace.
Could he breathe after he opened it? I hope he has.
Do angels breathe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Angels.
They have
Well,
lungs.
there's a lot of smoke because if you keep reading,
The sun and sky were darkened by the smoke from the abyss.
And out of the smoke came locusts.
And out of the smoke, locusts came down upon the earth and were given power like that of scorpions
Wow.
of the earth.
Are we talking giant locusts, like super locusts?
Well, we're
In,
going to read about this.
Didn't we
Jurassic
talk
Park.
about locusts earlier?
We've talked about locusts a couple different times, yeah.
Okay.
So verse 4, they were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any plant or tree, but only those people who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads.
Genetically modified locusts.
Well, we're going to get to their description here. They were not given power to kill them, but only to torture them for 5 months.
5 months.
No.
5 months.
Oh.
And the agony they suffered was like that of the sting of a scorpion when it strikes a man. So I got to share this funny story. It's a scorpion story.
All right, drum roll, please.
Drum roll, that's right. So we're down in Bonaire, and one of the couples that we worked with, I had a chance to help them with their wedding, which was pretty cool. Romy and Daniel, they were fantastic people, fantastic.
Scorpions. I need 6 scorpions, John.
So we're sitting on the like the stage thing, and all of a sudden the scorpion runs out from underneath the stage and runs away. And he was like, he runs over and steps on it. He's like, I hate scorpions. And he said, the reason why is because, he said, I was probably about 9 years old. I'm sleeping.
Oh no.
And he wakes up and a scorpion had crawled into his bed and stung him on the nuts.
Oh, that
Oh
was
my
story.
Just a little scorpion.
These
or
are
a
little,
big
these are little scorpions.
The littler scorpion, the more deadly they are.
Yeah, this is a little scorpion about this big, and it got him
But
right
this one
in the
obviously
middle.
is not
In the
a
middle
deadly
of sleep, he wakes up to this thing in his bed. I'm like,
Cringe.
I was cringing.
And that's
So,
why I don't like reptile houses. I cannot.
but that's
It
one
was 3 nights
scorpion.
before John fell asleep again. He had a bat and he's sitting on the bed.
It's like checking his bed before he goes to sleep.
Have you ever
There it is. I can picture it.
have you ever heard of chastity underwear? I had scorpion underwear. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, let's bring it back. And the agony they
That's
suffered
the only
was.
thing we're gonna remember. We're gonna go home. That's what we're gonna share with whoever.
That's
I'm gonna
right.
tell Neil that story.
And Jim's going to have more nightmares.
I don't have to worry about that part.
True.
I was born with that equipment.
That's funny. During those days, and this is to what you said earlier, Ed, during those days, men will seek death, but will not find it.
They can even commit suicide then.
They will long to die, but death will elude them.
And I was just curious if it was continuing because we knew about it from the beginning,
Yeah,
but now we're going deeper and deeper and
Yeah.
we're months into it, it seems like.
yeah, and it just seems to keep continuing.
Well, that's just a picture of hell, isn't it? It says,
Torment.
torment will find no relief. Even their unimaginable attempts to end their misery and suicide will be unsuccessful. So if you I have plenty of non-believers in my life. I'm like, I've never given them this detailed of a
Right,
description,
yeah,
but
yeah.
listen, if I'm wrong, I don't have not lost anything.
That's right, that's right.
But if you're wrong,
Yes,
hello, let's
Yeah.
let's go here.
yeah.
You're gonna wish that you could die, and you're not even going to be able to kill yourself to end the misery of hell. Why would anybody want to risk
Well,
that?
and
I
that's
just don't get
and
it.
that's the thing that I've oftentimes thought about. I just can't think of anyone, even Hitler. I mean, he was a deluded, deranged man who did some horrible things, but wishing that he would be tormented forever and ever and ever and ever. I just can't, in my own brain, I can't wrap my brain around who I would want to have it other than the devil. You know,
Who caused all of our?
who caused all the stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's three views of hell, three main views of hell. One is called ECT. That's the acronym. It stands for Eternal Conscious Torment. That's the view of most evangelicals, is that the place of hell, especially the lake of fire, is a place of continual conscious torment. Kind of like what Jackie was saying. You'll
That's where
want,
we see millions of people and they're all
yeah, you'll want to die. You'll want to die, but it's just you can't. It's just you're there because death was taken away. So the idea behind that is ECT, Eternal Conscious Torment. That's the acronym. The next view of hell is the acronym. It's not an acronym, but it's what's called conditional immortality. What conditional immortality means is that there is either eternal life or there is eternal death. Either you live forever or you die and you're gone forever. And so there are those who hold to the position of ECT or of conditional immortality because they believe that when you get thrown into hell, you are destroyed. When
You're
you,
not.
but that's their view. Their view is that
So there's no torment, right?
there's no
Just
torment.
death.
It is
There's nothing.
it's a
Completely
horrible death, but you're gone.
You're
You know,
done.
you're gone.
so that's
It's
what they're hoping for.
Another way of it, the
Right.
word used is called annihilationism. That's the other word that's used to describe annihilationism. Annihilationism.
That's the third one, or the
That's the
conditional
second.
one?
That's condition. That's another word for
Thanks.
conditional immortality. Yep. The third view is what's called universalism. Universalism is kind of like playing ASO, soccer. everybody gets a trophy in the end. You know, universalism says that God, in the end, will bring everybody back to himself. Now, you may spend some time in hell, but in the end, love wins. You ever heard of a book? That was Rob Bell.
I was gonna say, I used to go to that church.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew that minister. Excuse me, Jen, but I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Larry.
Yeah, it's
So what, they get brought back into a fold as our servants or something?
No, it's just that in the end, the love of God is strong enough that everybody will eventually, that when Jesus died on the cross, he died on the cross for all men. All men. And that ages, the thinking behind that is that there isn't a word for eternity in the Bible. It's age upon age upon age upon age. That's the idea behind it. It's just stacking time periods. And so their feeling is that these ages, once you get to a certain age, then God says that's enough. And then he brings them everybody who's there, he brings them all to heaven anyway. So in the end, everybody wins. That's the idea behind universalism.
Is that kind of like how would you say this is the thought process of the end of Gladiator? You know,
Yeah, when
like
he goes off to
he
that.
dies and then he's back
Yes.
reunited with his son and his
Yep.
wife and all of that.
Yeah, it's kind of this belief. It's kind of a mystical thing, you know. But yeah, that's
If you wake up in the green grass, you know you're
Yes,
dead and
that's
you're
right,
in
that's right.
wherever, and-
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. I just want to read just there verses 7 through 11 because this is the picture of the locusts. The locusts looked like horses prepared for battle.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Or does that mean they're the size of horses? or
Well,
they just look
that's
like
what he's saying. He
Which
said
size
these.
of horse though?
the Shetland pony or the
I don't think it's gonna matter if it's a pony or a ram size.
the giraffe.
If it's a giant Percheron versus a little tiny miniature.
Well, I'm guessing
guessing
these
the
are
giant
regular
giraffe
full-size horses. That'd be my guess. But even still, they looked like horses prepared for battle. On their heads, they wore something like
Well,
crowns of gold, and
You're
their
not taking a
faces,
pony to battle.
their faces resembled human faces.
Yeah, like
Their hair was like women's hair.
Teeth
Why?
like lions. so
Their hair
that's
was,
the problem.
their teeth were like lion's teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the thundering of many horses and chariots rushing into battle.
That's interesting because I didn't think scorpions had wings.
They don't. That's why
Okay.
it's the sting of a scorpion. That's the thing. It's
Okay.
because locusts don't have tails like
Scorpions.
that. But it goes on to verse 10. They had tails and stings like scorpions, and in their tails they had power to torment people for 5 months. Yeah.
It's like an incessant.
As long as 5 months.
Can you believe
Walk
5
around with a
months
stone in
of
your
that?
in your shoe for 5 months.
Oh, yeah. Just every day. Every day.
No.
So we're gonna talk about that next week. But I thought it was important that we've been talking about locusts, and I picture little tiny locusts. You know, these are not the locusts of
massive
Revelation 9. Yeah, these are.
They're ginormous.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
locusts are really actually pretty good size, but
They
not
are.
the size of a horse.
yeah, right. So we will leave off then. We'll go back and review some of those details next week, and then.
And
Sorry, 2 weeks.
Yeah, what
We're
were
not meeting
those
next
days that we had off? And
December
'cause I didn't
3rd.
write that down.
Okay, December 3rd. We're not.
We are back.
We're back. So next week, which is the
26th
26th, we're not meeting. And then December 3rd, we're back, and then we will do 3rd, 10th, 17th, and then we'll take the 24th and the 31st off.
17th, we're doing our little Christmas.
That's right. 17th is Christmas party.
Do we have details for that, or are those going to be coming closer to?
We'll probably talk about that on the 3rd. We'll get that squared away.
We don't want to plan too far ahead.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we would hate to have.
By the way, you guys, add to your calendars December 13th. That's the Christmas party here at the church. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you come to that. It's Friday night, the 13th.
I think I got
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th,
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like there's something going on.
We
that
do.
day.
I got
Sandy's birthday dinner.
my company party.
I think
I got something.
That night?
This house stuff needs to get done because I'm giving up my social life.
Is it an all church?
It's an all church, yeah, but it's just for adults, so,
Oh.
yeah.
So it starts at like 7.
I
or 9.
believe so. I think it's
So
7.
if we do dinner at 5, we can be here by 7.
That's right. Jen, you're gonna wanna be there, I'm just telling
Yeah,
you.
I don't wanna
we have
miss
a
it.
friend that planned her
We're getting
birthday party
presents?
around Jen's availability.
Yes, she plans stuff around my availability, which is very touching.
That is very
Were
touching.
you there last year?
So be there at 5.
We were actually born in the same hospital, just in different years.
Aw, that's special.
It is because it was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then we both ended up in the Grand Rapids area.
Aw,
Isn't that
special.
fascinating? That's
Fascinating. All right, who wants to close us out tonight? Anybody?
I got it.
Thanks, Ed.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together and doing miraculous things for us and for the people here. Thank you for your message in the wonderful days we've had. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.